Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Star Trek Adventures. We're going to continue telling the story of the tales of security crewman Archibald. And today we're going to talk about the return of Klang to Kronos, the Klingon headquarters. All right, so we get to the point where we have arrived in Kronos. So the Enterprise NX-01 is heading toward Kronos. They just went through an ion storm, and they also were intercepted by Starfleet Commander Rathmore, who had plans that with Archibald. And at this point, Klang has been on the ship. Sato has not learned to communicate with him at all, right? And finally, they arrive on Kronos. And there will need to, and there's going to be a lot of difficulty in communicating with the Klingons, because they have some translators who can kind of they need translators on both sides. Sato can serve very preemptorily, but at this point, there is a meeting set up. The Enterprise NX-01 gets into orbit in Kronos, and the Klingon High Council tells Captain Archer that they're ready to receive Klang, right? So at this point, Archer says to Tucker, determine the away team, right? So Tucker says, I'm going with Klang. We're going to bring Sato to do as much interpretation as she can, right, translation as she can, and then we're going to bring Archibald, right, and that's it, right? So at this point, the away team is set, and Archibald is like, wait a second, this is a major problem. It's going to be considered an insult if Captain Archer is not there. So Archibald thinks this to himself, but now he needs to get it done. Now he has a terrible relationship with Archibald has a terrible relationship with Tucker. They are constantly giving Archer opposite information, right? Opposite suggestions on what to do next. Because Archer really, he doesn't like to just give orders. He wants to hear his whole crew, and then he'll pick the best ideas, right? And if there isn't a good idea, he is completely capable to jump in and then set a best idea, right? So I thought that was really interesting, right? And so at this point, it's a reason and command role, and Archibald player was able to make that role and convince Tucker to change the away team. And Tucker doesn't want to bring Archer because he thinks it's incredibly dangerous. And Archibald he's like, it's the exact opposite, man. If we roll up on the High Council and we don't even bring our captain, that could be a major problem. So they go down, and the first thing that happens is Klang starts talking to the High Council, and Sato is able to parse together just enough that that Klang is saying that he thinks he should be killed by one of the other Klingon warriors because he went to Earth and he failed in his mission. He got his mission done, but he was caught in completing his mission. Now, Archibald, Archer, Tucker, Sato, and they don't know what this mission is, right? And but Archer immediately, Sato tells this to Archer, and Archer's like, you tell them he cannot die. We brought him all this way so that he could live among his people. We didn't bring him here to die on the first day brought back. So Archer is very strong, and the Klingon High Council gets upset, and then and then Archer remains strong and says, we brought him here to live. So the Klingon High Council says, you got caught doing your mission, and why don't you tell the humans what your mission is, because we owe them that much for bringing you back. And so Klang then explains that his entire mission to that farm was to get 3 kernels of corn. And the reason why is the Klingons recently, and then the Klingon High Council takes over, and they explain that they recently got a brand new planet that was abandoned. It was found, and the people that had lived on it had killed themselves to death with war, and the Klingons love that. They're like, yeah, that's the way to go, right? But they're trying to plant seeds and grow things and live on this planet to honor those people who died, but they haven't been able to find anything that grows. But they heard that humans have this thing called corn. And so Clang was sent to Earth to get 3 kernels of corn. And he did that. It's actually implanted in his body. So he cuts open his wrist and then brings out these 3 kernels of corn and gives it to the high command. And they're like, mission accomplished. It really sucks that you got caught, but we're not going to dishonor you, and we're accepting, and we're going to honor Archer. And if it were up to you, if it were up to us, we'd kill you because you got caught doing your mission. But Archer has asked for your life. Archer has returned you, and we're going to honor his request. And Clang is successfully returned to the Klingon High Council, to Kronos, the Klingon headquarters. And at this point, everybody's excited because this is a full, complete mission. The Enterprise NX-01's first mission is fully completed. And also, this is a major, so the story goes normal milestone, spotlight milestone, which is interesting because we only have 1 player, so he gets the spotlight milestone every time. And then he gets an arc milestone, which is pretty cool, right? And so he gets an arc milestone, and he can increase any attribute. He can increase any discipline by 1. He can get a new focus, or he can get a new talent, which is really fantastic. So that was the full sweep on returning Clang to Kronos. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion on Star Trek Adventures Warp Onyx campaign. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.